Switch Edu Online School, we are committed to providing the best education for our students. Our student-centered approach focuses on individualized learning with qualified and experienced teachers who inspire, challenge, and support students every step of the way. Our world-class learner management system, Cluster, ensures that students and parents have real-time access to track their progress and overall learning experience to empower them with valuable insights for academic success. Good afternoon, everybody. How are we all doing? Can I just get a sound check real quick? Okay, Tanaka, can you hear me? Just give me a thumbs up if I'm audible.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So good afternoon, everybody. How are we all doing? Yes, I am the face behind the voice of that previous video. My name is Teacher Aliyah, and I am an educator here at Switch Edu Online, as well as the HOD of the school. How are we all doing? Please let me know. Are we ready for the Christmas season? Are we ready for the holidays? Yeah, I see some thumbs up. I think we are ready for the holidays. Okay, that's great. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today on our little session of getting started for 2024. So a warm and heartfelt welcome to you all. We're delighted to have you here, and we are looking forward to showcasing the incredible opportunities and educational experiences at our school. We hope that you enjoy your visit today and find it informative. So along today's agenda, we will have a session towards the end where we will open the floor out to all parents or guardians, and you will be able to voice your opinions or ask any questions or concerns or raise any points that you'd like. But along the way, as I'm taking you through to today's session, you are welcome to leave your questions in our chat box, or alternatively, you can leave your contact details and we can get back to you with your question. And our tech support is online and ready to answer all of your questions. So without further ado, let's get started into today's session. So before we do, let's just take a look at our agenda for today. We kept it short and sweet as to not to bore anyone, and we do understand that it is family time right now at 7:15. So we plan to keep this nice and short and easy. So we'll start off with number one on our agenda, which is who we are as a school, as well as our staff and faculty. Why Switch Edu Online? So why our school as an option? We follow in with number three at curriculum overview, support services, technology requirements rather, and a virtual tour of our learner management system. We will thereafter look at the book list and the stationery list and all of the things that you need for your child to get ready for 2024 in our school. We will look at parents' involvement as well as the extracurricular activities. And thereafter, we will lead into our FAQ session where we will open the floor to all frequently asked questions or any opinions or points that anyone would like to raise. So starting off with who we are as a school. Yeah. All right. So we'll start with our teachers. So our team consists of teachers who are qualified and very passionate about their craft. They have broad teaching experiences and are skilled in adapting to diverse learning styles. And they understand and resonate with our ethos to develop learners to be real world ready. And they are also trained to teach in the virtual world. So yes, we do understand for some parents and some learners, being in the online platform can be a bit daunting, can be a bit difficult as well. But it is a stepping stone towards a technologically new environment as well. So our teachers are trained especially for this kind of environment where they will make your child feel safe, they will help them to adapt, and they will help them to be comfortable in this kind of learning environment where they will be free to ask questions and everything exactly that goes on in a traditional classroom. That is exactly how we carry out our classes. So our team consists of 5 members. Yes, five. So at first we have teacher Alia Ibrahim, which is myself, and I am the HOD. We have teacher Yolanda Damini. Teacher Yolanda is our foundation phase mathematics and English teacher, and she is also the intermediate phase maths teacher. We have teacher Ntando Msimi. She is our isiZulu educator as well as the life skills educator for the foundation and intermediate phase. Then we have teacher Sharifa Sher, who is our science teacher. So she takes natural science technology, life skills, as well as our social sciences. And we have Ms. Tanaka, who is our technical support and part of technical management. Myself, I am teacher Alia Ibrahim. I am the English teacher for the intermediate phase, as well as the Afrikaans teacher. So before I get into what our school offers and everything about our school, I'd like to answer the question of, is online school the same as homeschooling? Now, this is a question that a lot of people have difficulty in. It's also something that can be, intertwined a lot. A lot of people can get confused with what's the difference between online and homeschooling. So I'd like to share a little bit about that first. So is an online school like a homeschool? No, it is not. A homeschool actually has a different curriculum, and it's one of which the student works at their own pace. And the only downside to that is that it lacks routine. So just like a traditional school would have your Monday to Friday timetable, your set times for each session, for each subject, for each period, rather. A homeschool does not have this. At a homeschool, the child needs to be a little bit more independent and responsible in the sense where they now have to keep to their own schedule. And this can be difficult sometimes, especially when you have younger kids in the foundation or intermediate phase who still need to get used to routine. They need to get used to the whole idea of attending their subjects, attending each period, making sure that they get their homework done, and there's no one basically behind them. So in a homeschooling setting, the parents or the guardians need to serve as their educator and actually help them to learn to study on their own. But an online school is different. An online school, on the other hand, we follow a structured timetable and a structured curriculum in which where the curriculum is designed with the and is aligned rather with the state or the national curriculum of the country. And in our country, obviously, South Africa, we follow the CAPS curriculum, which is the standardized curriculum that is used all across South Africa, well, South African schools. So the curriculum is typically designed and facilitated by professional educators, and that is our team. And the students in the online school participate in virtual classrooms. So a home school would be one in which the child studies at home at their own pace. They'd have to, have their parent or their guardian as their educator. But an online school is just like a traditional school where you have a teacher, you have students in a class, and they can both see each other in a virtual classroom. So just as how you and I are here today in a Zoom call, that is how our classes are done. It's done over a Zoom video. The teacher and student can see each other. There's that live interaction. as well as socializing with the other members in the class. So the child's classmates, and over time, they'll develop into friends, and the teacher will thereafter use their screen as their chalkboard. And yeah, that is how we get our classes done. So our school aims to offer contemporary and a fresh new approach to learning virtually, reflecting in the name of moving from old to new, dynamic, relevant, and practical curriculum that prepares learners for the real world, teaching methods through sorry about this teaching methods through live online lessons taught by a team of highly experienced teachers. So I'd like to move on to the next point, which is our ethos and our teaching method. So at our school, we rest upon three very valuable pillars, and that is personal development, forward thinking, and a global outlook. Now, on personal development, we believe that fostering of personal development techniques is used to help learners grow, become well-rounded individuals with practical life and self-knowledge skills. So these areas include how to communicate, personal responsibility, how to build self-esteem, confidence, and EQ, management of conflict. So on this topic, we believe that students need to understand who they are as individuals. They need to explore themselves. They need to understand, okay, this is why I'm here. This is my purpose in life. It's not a situation where you just have a child that's just happy-go-lucky in school, not understanding what they want their purpose to be in life. Eventually they need to have an idea of, okay, I'm going to school. This is my responsibility, and this is what I want. This is how I'm going to treat and make my parents proud. So that is all the topics that we like to follow based on personal development. The next point is forward thinking. Develop learners to think beyond the present and start thinking about the future. Yes, we do live in a very advanced world, and I think I can speak for all parents when I say we just don't understand the lingo anymore. It's just gotten out of control, if I can say. So in that regard, life is just changing so fast. It's very fast paced now compared to a few years back. And now I think in terms of the online platforms that we have available, I mean, our school alone is doing it technologically. All you need now is a laptop and internet connection to be going to school. So it's about thinking about the future and thinking about how I'm going to overcome the future tasks, and how I'm going to overcome the future endeavors that might follow. So the various focus areas will be included in forward thinking is the foster of curiosity through questioning, using the imagination to think out of the box, nurture their ability to be creators, understanding the importance of a goal setting, scenario planning, enhance their creative minds through the arts of storytelling. So these are all based on forward thinking. Now, on the point of global outlook, which is our third pillar that our school rests upon, children are growing up in a world that's increasingly connected. We want to equip learners to be prepared for a global environment in which they will one day work or do business in through. Teaching experiences that recognize the importance of looking beyond the SA borders. Now, this is very important because I think I can speak for parents again when I say, when we were in school, we didn't have that opportunity to look and think about what is going on around my country, what is going on outside of South Africa. The only time when we could explore that factor was when maybe someone was bombing someone else in another country, or maybe when we watched the news at 8 p.m. at night with our parents or our grandparents. I mean, we all know our grandparents used to love watching the news. So yeah, it was at those times when we used to watch the news and be like, okay, there's things going on outside of our country, but it never used to really, trigger us because we didn't have that much of networking. We didn't have that much of a bother at all, to think about what is going on in other countries. But in this day and age, it's so important to involve our kids because this world is ever changing. Now we are networking with people all around the world. Our kids are on social media. They have technology at their fingertips. And it's it's a situation where they are now coming and telling us, this happened in this country, or this is what the current status is. They are telling us things that we are shocked about. And I won't lie, it makes us feel very old, I have to admit. But it is the world that we live in. And the only thing that we can do now is guide them on the correct path. And that is what we mean by a global outlook. We can allow them to explore the current affairs that's happening in and around the world. We can allow them, and we can also focus a certain area of how we'd like them to understand the world that they live in, and also explore in a safe manner. It is something that we can control the environment that they live in, which is very important in this day and age, because they can very easily be led astray. So that's just the last point on the pillar that our school rests upon. Parents and guardians, please don't forget, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the chat box. Alternatively, you can raise your hand. We are open to taking questions. Please don't hesitate. We are here to assist you. So the next point I'd like to touch on from our agenda is our curriculum. Now, we are a South African online school, so that means that all of our students and teachers are from South Africa. Yes, we do sit in a class with kids one from Joburg, one from Cape Town, one from Western Cape, Eastern Cape, KZN. It is really a beautiful sight to see kids from all over the provinces, all over the areas, different areas, come together on one platform and become friends. They build long life friendships on our platform, and they get to interact, they get to socialize, they get to learn together with friends that are not even in their own area, which is great, because before, in a school setting, when we were in school, we used to have our friend maybe lived down the road, and that's all we knew. We didn't have any friends that were maybe in another province or maybe across the province. So it's really a beautiful sight to see, especially when we have new students. It's always a question: where do you live? What's it like over there? Do you have load shedding as well? So that's just some of the questions that our kids ask each other, when they're socializing and interacting. So it's really a gift to have new students enter our school all the time, because we just have so much of questions for them, and ways for them to connect with the kids that we already have. So based on our curriculum, yes, we follow the CAPS curriculum. So the CAPS curriculum is CAPS stands for the Curriculum and Assessment Policy Statement, and is the curriculum framework used in South Africa for primary and secondary education. So our school has grade R right up until grade 7, and we follow all of the subjects that are CAPS aligned, which is your maths, your English home language referring to the language that you actually speak at home. We have first additional language, and our first additional languages that we offer is isiZulu and Afrikaans. We have our science subjects, which is natural science, technology, social sciences, which is your history and your geography. And we have life skills, which is our basic ALO, also including our creative arts, and which is our arts and culture. And we also have our life skills, which is together with our physical education, which is our normal PE. So that is our CAPS curriculum. Let's move on. All right. Another important question I would like to share with you guys: examinations and load shedding. Yes, we live in South Africa, and it is a negative, but we all have to, live with it. I'm sure it's come to the point now where we don't even complain anymore. Load shedding is just something that just happens, and we have to accept it, unfortunately. So yes, so with examinations and load shedding. So our examinations, I'll just touch on this first. So an exam timetable will be given to learners, just like in an ordinary traditional school setting. They get a timetable and they get an exam timetable. So either a week or 2 weeks in advance, they will be able to see and plan out their exam study session. So they'll be able to plan themselves out, understand what they need to learn first, understand what their problem areas is, focus on their strengths and weaknesses, and then relay that to us so that we can help them in their problem areas. So that is why it's important that we offer the exam timetable. They will retrieve their exam papers from our online learner platform. I'll just touch on that in a second or two. And then invigilation is carried out by our teachers. So yes, although we don't have a traditional school setting, invigilation is taken very, very seriously by our school. So the way in which the learners actually write their exam is from our learner management system, which is called Cluster. They will retrieve their exam papers 15 minutes before the session. Thereafter, they will have to switch their cameras on, have their mics on as well, so that we can ensure that we can see them and there's transparency in terms of who's in the background or who's talking to them or if anybody is talking to them. So that is why we require their videos and their mics to be on. So once they start their exam, we are allowed to see exactly what they are writing. So the cameras are then faced to their table where we will see them write out their exam. All exams have to be handwritten, nothing is typed. And the reason for this is to avoid any plagiarism or any cheating whatsoever. Then invigilation is carried out by the teacher of the subject. So for example, if they're writing English, it will be the English teacher who will be invigilating the entire exam session. And thereafter, once they have finished their exam, they will be allowed to upload their paper. Once the teacher has received the paper on her side, the child will be allowed to leave the exam session. So that is how our examinations are carried out. The next point is on load shedding. So how do we go about load shedding and does it affect our school? And the answer is no. All of our lessons are recorded via Zoom. So that means that our learners will be able to go back to any lesson that they wish and they will be able to re-watch exactly whatever happened in that class. So for example, if you have your child who's sick or they had to miss school due to a personal reason, or maybe there was a death in the family and something unfortunate, they will be able to now go back to the recording and catch up. So it's not a situation where in a traditional school where you miss the day and you missed out on so much of notes, you missed out on so much of everything. No, our teachers will directly send the notes, whether it's in a PDF form or whether it's on Cluster. They will send the work to the learner and have them watch the recording so that they can go over it on their own. And the recordings is also helpful for when they are recapping and they are doing revision for their exams. From that, they can quickly write down maybe the date. Maybe, for example, one day we were going through a very important task in history or geography. Those are theory-based subjects, so there's a lot of information and a lot of reading in those subjects. So the learner can very easily write down the date or it can be provided by us. They can quickly go back to that lesson, rewatch the whole thing, basically learn it again if they need to, and then be ready for the exams. So that is one of the pros that we have for our lessons being recorded on Zoom. So that is always available to our learners. So let's go to the next point. All right, so our support services. Right, so based on our support services, we have technical support as well as tutoring support. So yes, we understand that moving to an online school can be very scary, can be daunting, especially for those of us who are used to a traditional school setting. I mean, we have learners all the time that join our school that come from a physical, normal school, and they're always very scared. How do I go about this online platform? How do I go about getting started? So this is why you're here today, guys, and parents and guardians rather. So you are here today to understand how do we get started. So our technical support offers a orientation for the parents and the students to help them get started. On this orientation, you will be taken through a tour of our learner management system, of where our technical management support team will help you understand and how to use the learner management program, which is called Cluster. From there, the child will be able to know, okay, this is where my homework goes, this is where my assignment goes, this is where I can find my timetable, I can find my links to my lessons here, and all of that good stuff. All right. So they will thereafter be provided with the relevant information from our support team, and they will be ready to get started from there on in. Students and parents can contact our support team at any time. They are always ready to, there to assist. There is a helpline or an email of which parents can use, and they will receive prompt assistance and ensure a smooth learning experience. Because at the end of the day, that is what we want. We just want every day to be as smooth as possible, especially on this online platform, and to ensure that the kids get the most out of their educational day and their classes. The next point is tutoring support. Yes, our teachers are our tutors, all right? I got a bit tongue-tied there, our tutoring support. So the teachers for their relative subjects are the ones who offer tutoring for their subjects. So for example, if a learner is, if they are available maybe on WhatsApp, or if they are available on Zoom, maybe on Saturdays or Sundays, our teachers do offer this tutoring support. And it's especially for those who we find are lacking and they have problem areas. So upon starting with our school, while we get our lessons started, we will first tackle, these are your strengths, these are your weaknesses, these are where we can see opportunity for growth, and this is what we need to focus on. So from that, our teachers gather all of the information that they need to help the students and to push them to achieve further, and achieve, those A's that we want them to achieve. So our tutoring support is available. It's either available after school hours by our teachers, or on Saturdays or Sundays. So it really depends on who's available and when we can make time for this. But like I said, it is always readily available. All we need to do is communicate and see when that can be scheduled. So that is our support service. I'm just going to go quickly into this chat box to make sure all questions are being answered. Thank you so much, Naka, for this. All right. So let's go to the next point. All right. The next point we come to is our technological requirements. So what do your kids need to join and to get started? Firstly, they will need a laptop or a tablet and a reliable internet access. I'll just repeat that. Technological requirements, what will your child need to get started for the 2024 year? They will need a laptop or a tablet and a reliable internet access. Okay, I'll just take you on a virtual tour of Cluster, which is our learner management system. Tanaka, just give me a sound check if you can hear this, please. Thank you.
Switch Edu Online has in place a world-class learner management system called Cluster, and it's used by over 500 institutions in more than 25 countries around the world. Cluster personalized portals provide each user with valuable information that is relevant to him or her. The Learner's Portal, for example, allows them to keep track of their academic performance, calendar of events, teaching schedules, amongst other things. Parents can also follow their children's schedule and general academic performance, or stay in contact with teachers and administrator by communicating via the message center. Teachers can upload tasks, homework or lesson plans, tests, and quizzes for learners to access and complete.
All right, so that was Cluster. I'll just relay exactly what was said on that video for those of you who might not have heard it. Righty. All right, so like they mentioned in the video, so Cluster is our learner management system. It is a program that the learners use, of which they will get their own portal, which they'll be able to sign in at any time. So it is the place where they will find their timetables, their links to their classes. They will find their homework being uploaded on that system. They will also be able to submit their homework as well as assessments or any projects that they may have onto Cluster for us to mark and to assess. They'll also find their the exam papers. So with the exam papers, the teachers have a scheduled time to upload it, and that's obviously before the exam session, so that the whole exam session can go smoothly. And they will find their flip tasks as well, which is an assessment that we do have, and they will be able to submit all of their work and be able to track their all of their marks. So all of the homework and all of the assessments that we do mark as teachers, they will be able to find their marks there. And it's also a place where they can message us and talk about anything really, whether it's they need help in homework or whether they need any kind of communication really. We are always readily available for them on Cluster. So this brings me to my next point, which is based on parental involvement. Now, parents play a vital role in your child's education, even in an online setting, if not more in an online setting, because we have a lot of parents that are going to work and their kids are at home on the online platform alone sometimes. So that is why we have a very structured parent involvement system, and this requires regular communication, parent-teacher conferences, tracking their child's progress, as well as transparency. So I'll just go through a little bit more about those points in depth. So in terms of regular communication, like I mentioned before, whether it's our IT management system, our tech support, or whether it's the teachers, the parents have access to our contact details, so they will be able to contact us directly if there's any issues or any concerns that they'd like to raise at all. All right, so we are always readily available, and that is how we have regular communication with our parents. So whether your child is going to have load shedding tomorrow, whether they are sick, or whether there is any personal issues that they will be away from school for, those type of things will be communicated to us, and we'll be able to tackle it from there on and think about how we're going to get this child up and ready when they do join us again if they are absent. Parent and teacher conferences. Now, parent and teacher consults is where we have a almost like a parent-teacher meet and greet, and this is after every term, after the examinations. Now, this is a more like a conference where we sit with each parent, and all of our teachers in our team will sit with each parent, and we will go through the child's entire progress, whether it's for the term, whether it's over 2 terms or 3 terms, and really just look at all of the feedback that we can give from both sides, whether it's from the teacher side, whether it's from the parent side, from home, and really discuss what improvements have been made, what any problem areas are, and how we can move forward from those areas. So that is why we have parent and teacher meetings at the end of every term after the exam session. Tracking the child's progress. This is also something that we look at in the parent and teacher conference. It is where we talk about how the child has improved, or maybe if the child has not improved, what can we do as individuals and as teachers or as parents to improve the child and push them further so that they can reach their full capacity, and then we also have transparency. So one of the good things about our lessons being recorded is transparency. So if there is any incidents at all, whether it's minor or major, we have transparency where if there's an incident, we will go back, look at the recording, investigate if we have to, and see it like it was exactly in the class. So whether the class was a week ago or maybe yesterday or even a month ago, all of our lessons are recorded. So we are able to have that transparency to ensure that everything goes smoothly. So that was parent involvement. Let's move to the next point, which is all right. So this is our extracurricular activities. So at Switch Edu Online, yes, we do have other curricular subjects. And one of those is chess for beginners. Yes, I mean exactly like the board game. So chess is a fun way to enhance important skills that can be applied to a huge variety of real life situations and improve their overall cognitive brain functions. Yes, we do believe that not all children can sit behind a textbook and study and kind of SWOT information like maybe how they did it in the old days. We believe that children have their own way of understanding. Each individual child cannot be told how to study. That is something that they develop on their own. They develop their strengths, they develop their weaknesses, and from there they will see, okay, this is how I understand things. This is what I can do to help myself, teach it to myself better. So from this, we gather and we understand that, okay, not every child can be taught in the same way, which reaches out to our different teaching methods and a variety of teaching styles that is acquired to practically put all the learners in our class on one plate, to have them all at the end of the lesson say, you know what, I understand this. So this is why we have extracurriculars as well as different teaching methods and styles. So these benefits are gained through the game, which include thinking rationally, problem-solving skills, creative thinking, improved memory, and analytical power. So all of this just from Chess for Beginners class is absolutely immaculate. We all know that chess is more of a brain game, and it does require a lot of problem-solving and thinking skills. So we find that by this extracurricular subject, they actually develop those skills in a game, a simple thing as a game, which doesn't seem, before wouldn't seem like something much to think about. But if you had to look at the game of chess, there's actually a lot of, how can I say, I wouldn't say scenarios, but more matchmaking. There's sequences involved. There's so much more science to this game than any other game, which is why we have Chess for Beginners and we have Building Confidence. So we have in place a set core values that underpin the vision of Switch Edu Online of developing teaching that is based in real life learning to develop learners who are real world ready. These core values are the cornerstone of all that we do. Therefore, Building Confidence has been developed to specifically focus and harness our three values and teaching pillars. So this comes back to our personal development, forward thinking, and global outlook, which we touch on in Building Confidence. Now, this extracurricular is very important, especially for those starting right from grade 1. It is true that all of our children are different in some way. Some of them have talents, some of them are still discovering their talents, and it is in this extracurricular subject of Building Confidence where they learn what type of individual they are. They understand that, okay, this is something that I like. Maybe I'm outspoken, maybe I'm not outspoken, but it teaches them to understand that, okay, I need to behave in this way, or I need to tackle the situation, or this is how I can understand and practice and learn to tackle this kind of scenario. So it allows them to become independent. It allows them to think for themselves, to understand scenarios, to develop their own critical thinking in different situations, while also building confidence and self-esteem as well, which is very important in the intermediate phase. So that is our extracurriculars. Apart from that, we also have our physical activity, which is your normal PE, which we have over the virtual classroom. Yes, we do. So the teacher would actually get up, we'd all stand up, move all of our books aside, and have a physical activity lesson where we do dance moves, we practice different exercises, and everything that deals with our physical education. Okay. Now let's just take a look at our term dates for next year. So for 2024, our term dates, term 1 is a total of 46 days. It starts on the 17th of January, which is a Wednesday, and it closes on the 20th of March. So term 1 starts on the 17th of January, and it closes on the 20th of March. Term 2 is 46 days as well. It starts at the 9th of April and ends at the 14th of June. Term 3 is 52 days. This starts on the 10th of July and ends on the 20th of September. Term 4 starts on the 9th of October. Oh, I think there's a small typo here. Sorry about that. This is 5th December. It closes on the 5th of December. Sorry about that typo, guys. All right, so that is our term dates. All of this information can be relayed to you. Please let us know in the chat box if you'd like all of this information to be sent, and we will have that sent to you after the session. All right. I now open the floor to all parents and anyone really who has any questions based on today's session, any opinions that you'd like to raise, any points that you'd like to raise, please feel free to go on. I'll be here to assist with your questions as well as our tech support. So the floor is now open to parents and guardians. Okay. I think while parents are just thinking on their questions, I'm just going to go through maybe some of the questions that were on the chat box for those of you who haven't seen it. So let's just see, what questions do we have? Okay, so the first question we have is, if a child can't write at the moment due to load shedding, what is the procedure? So like I mentioned before, based on our lessons being recorded, so the child, if they have load shedding at that time, and if there's no UPS or inverter readily available for them, the lesson is recorded so that they will be able to go back, watch the recording. Thereafter, the work will be sent directly to the learner so that they can finish up and catch up with their work. I see Rafile where has a question. Please proceed.
I wanted to ask, when it comes to the extramural activities, is it only chess that you are doing? No robotics, kind of like, or coding? Is it only chess that they can do as an extramural activity?
So for now, we have chess and building confidence, which is our extramural. Coding, I think maybe that's something we will, develop over time. But at the moment, we don't have it. But I think towards maybe the latter, we will look into having coding.
Okay. Who can I realize with if I've got ideas on extramural activities?
So is your question who you can speak to with that?
Realize with is.
Oh, okay. So you can liaise with our tech support or with me. You can put in your ideas maybe in the chat box that's available, or you can send us your details as well, however you'd like to communicate.
My daughter here has a question about excursions.
Sure. Oh.
You asked if they don't have school trips.
What? But why?
Okay, so she's asking, but why? Oh, I'm so sorry, honey. So, because our school is online, so we get to meet people from all over South Africa, right? So you will have friends that maybe someone's from Cape Town, maybe someone's from Durban, maybe someone's from Joburg. It could be anywhere. So at the moment, excursions we don't have, but it is something that our management is looking into to improve our social interaction. So yes, that's definitely on the list to look for. But obviously, with this, obviously, it comes the cost factor and whoever is available and whose parents, are willing to, go that extra mile. So yes, it is on our list, and maybe hopefully when you do join our school, we will maybe have a school excursion. But for now, what I can promise is that you will have friends from everywhere in South Africa, and you will have a very fun time at our school. I think we had a few raised hands. Please go ahead. I think it was Miss Nathira, did you raise your hand?
Hi, yes, I did. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to know, like, the times, how do you guys break them up? Because if you start 9 o'clock, like, from 9 till what time, like, how long, and then when is it the break, like, for the kids?
Okay, so for our foundation phase, they actually start earlier. So they start around 7:30 and they knock off around 12:30, 1 o'clock. So they've got like a half day situation, which is CAPS regulated, which is aligned with CAPS because they are younger and they can't do really a full day. So for the foundation phase, they start around 7:30 and end off around 12:30 or 1. And for the intermediate phase, they also start around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and they end their day around 3:30, about 2:30, 3:30, around there. Obviously, the grade 7s will finish later because they've got extra subjects. They've got a bit more extra subjects than your regular grade 4, 5, and 6 because grade 7 is your senior phase now. So that is how we work the timetable. Yeah, they've got their Monday to Friday timetable as well. Yeah.
Do you guys print, send the work to us and then we print it and take a pic and send it back? Or how does that work?
Yes, so all of the work that we send you guys, it can be printed, or it can be done on Word document if necessary. So the child can type, but we do prefer writing. So we do prefer if they do print it out, maybe, but not necessarily print out. They can use and write down their answers on a page and just scan that and send that to us. That's perfectly all.
So can I like get books and stuff so they can write it in and that?
Yes, definitely. So
Like school books.
yes.
Yeah.
That's yes. So actually, let me just go to our book list and our stationery list. Sorry, I actually forgot about that.
Okay, no, that's fine.
So yes,
Oh,
they've got a
it's
set
okay.
textbook list and they've got their set stationery list, just like a regular school. Just move to it. Okay. All right. So this book list, I'm just going to see if you can see my screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so this is, I'll start with grade R. This is our grade R book list. And we have, okay, first column, we have subjects. So for grade R, they've just got their English and their maths. So their English, which is literacy, and their mathematics, which is numeracy. So it's just for these two subjects that we require the textbooks. So for the textbooks, we'll be able to provide you with the title, the publisher, as well as the ISBN number, so that you can get that exact textbook. So when the teacher is teaching in the class, the learner can have their textbook open and follow through with the exact pages and the work. And then with grade R, they also got their play session, which is an educational play. For that, we do not require any textbooks. Those resources will be offered by the teacher. But that is more of a technological educational play date, where the teacher will use various videos and various media to educate the learner and also have a little bit of fun. So that is their play session. And they also have their handwriting practice. So this is a book that we do prescribe. It's a handwriting book practice for kids of age 3 to 5 years. So this is where they have the larger lines where they can actually practice their handwriting. So that is the book we prescribed for grade R's. Then when it comes to grade 1, just move along here. For grade 1, they've got their English, they've got maths, and they've got their first additional language, as well as their life skills. So for English, we do prescribe the all-in-one grade 1 home language learners book. The mathematics is their learners book as well, and for Afrikaans as well. So in these learner books, there's actually spaces for them to write down their answers, write down all of the information that they need to in terms of answering, whether it's stories or whether it's normal based questions, or because this is a learner's book, that will be most effective for them to get. So those are the books that we prescribe for grade 1. And for grade 2, it's a similar setting where we have the same branded book, which is the new all-in-one. Now, we've used this CAPS-related book because we found that it was most effective in terms of the quality of the work that it provides, as well as the information that it relates to each subject, as well as where the child can answer. So it's all they need, basically. You know, they wouldn't need so many books. So apart from this learner's book, they just need a normal, how can I say, like a normal jotter book with lines and a margin. That is for them to do their daily work as well as practice their handwriting and so on. So for grade 2, they've got their English, mathematics, and first additional language, as well as life skills. And we also prescribe a handwriting practice book for them because at this stage, they're still learning and getting around writing. For grade 3, it's a similar situation as well because it's foundation phase continuing. They have English, Afrikaans, and mathematics, as well as life skills. So these are the books that we prescribe. Now for grade 4, this is entering the intermediate phase. Now they've got a bit more subjects: English, home language. We have Afrikaans, first additional language, mathematics, social science, natural science, and technology, as well as life skills. So these are the books that we have provided. Now, we have used these CAPS-related books because we have found that it targets each of the 4 individual skills that the learners need, whether it's reading, writing, listening, and understanding, as well as speaking. So these books tackle those 4 or 5 skills, and it handles them in a situation where the learner is allowed activities based on those skills so that they can practice their reading, their writing, their comprehending, their speaking, and their understanding. So we found that these books were most effective in those terms, because a lot of the time you'll find textbooks that have, too much information and not enough for you to practice with. So that is why we've hand chosen these specific books to say, okay, you know what, this is what the learner will get the most out of their day with, and this is what I can actually use to ensure that they get the most. That was grade 4. Grade 5 is a similar setting where they've got the same subjects, and again, they've got their separate books for each subject. And then we move on to grade 6. For grade 4, 5, and 6-4, their additional language, their first additional language, which is either Afrikaans or isiZulu, we do require them to get a pocket dictionary as well as English. We do require learners to get a pocket dictionary for English and Afrikaans or isiZulu, whichever first additional language they have chosen. And this is because we want to keep it traditional. We don't want to allow them to always run to Google Translate. No, we need them to learn their dictionary skills as well. That is why we require that they have those pocket dictionaries. And it's really, I think the Oxford dictionaries allow for the pocket dictionaries. It's a really small one, and it has all of the words that they need for their level. So they don't really need the big old original, dictionary. So that is it for grade 6. And then we move on to grade 7. Now, this is our senior phase grade, and it has English, your first additional language, which is Afrikaans, mathematics. Now, for grade 7, natural science and technology are 2 separate subjects, so we require 2 different books for these, as they have different theory and different information in both. As part of CAPS, these 2 subjects are separated. Then we have social sciences. Social sciences are your history and geography, that is put together. Then they have economical management science, and this is based on business, it's based on economics, it's based on management science, and everything to do with finances and business, and all the business world, really. So for that is their new subject, which they enter after grade 6. And then they have the creative arts, which is also separated. So for these, they would need all of their separate books. Now, these are the textbooks. From this book list, it is the textbooks that the learners will need. I'll now take you through to the stationery list. The stationery list. All right. So this is our stationery list. We've got it on a nice laid out table for you guys. And you can clearly see we have grade R right up until grade 7 and all of the stuff they need. So for each subject, they would need an A4 sized textbook. Not textbook, workbook. They are required to get a whiteboard with markers. They are also required to get an eraser for that. This is very helpful for the grade R's right up until grade 7. But most importantly for the foundation phase, as they would use it much more. For the foundation phase, they would be required to get their HB pencils, their erasers and sharpeners. So all of the stationery that they basically need in a traditional school, we require those as well, because we ensure and we make sure that the kids handwrite every single day. We don't want them to get too used to typing and not understanding how to write and all of those things. Yes, we are in an ever-changing world, but they need to know basic skills like writing. So we make sure that writing is something that we do every day in the class. They would need their set of crayons, and this is more for the foundation phase. For our intermediate phase, they'll need their pens, pencils, rulers, scissors, glue sticks, the basics, and they would also need a calculator as well as a geometric set. This is more for the grade 6s and the grade 7s. They need a geometric set, and they would need a calculator. Now, on the intermediate phase, you'll see that they require pocket dictionaries for English and Afrikaans. And they would also I think there's the books here at this in this row. They've got their A4 college books. For the foundation phase, they just need between 4 to 6 A4 college books. And for our intermediate phase, they would need one hardcover book per subject. That's one hardcover book per subject. So that would be enough for them. Like as you can see here, they're required to have the 192 page hardcover book. So that ensures that they'll be, covered for the whole year round without having to run again and buy more textbook workbooks rather. So please, if anybody else does have any questions, please feel free to voice those now. I think we've got some questions. Okay, I think Miss Nakira
sorry,
asked,
do you guys do trials?
trials.
Like trials, yeah.
You mean for the lesson to see like how is it going and to observe?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely. Yes, so we do offer those. So we'll offer those for maybe you can sit in on one of the sessions, whichever session you'd like, maybe the math class or the English class. So you can just leave your details with in the chat box, and we can communicate with you on which day you are available. Obviously, that will have to be done next year because we don't have school is closed now. Yeah, so we can do that next year, definitely. You just let us know when you are available, and we'll be able to tell you which class you can sit in, and you'll be able to observe what goes on in our day-to-day. That goes for all parents as well. Please, if you would like to have an observation day, please leave your details in the chat box. Our tech support will just jot that down, and we will be able to guide you on that.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
I see there's a question from, okay, let's see. I'm just going to go back up to answer these questions the best that I can. Okay, I think Ms. Nadira had asked about the breaks in the subjects and the times. You know what? I'll actually open up our timetable for you so that you can have a look at it. Let's see, there's our timetables. So you can actually see exactly how we structure out our day from Monday to Friday. It's just opening. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. All right. So as you can see on the screen, this is just an example for grade R. So grade R, they have a little baby timetable because they are our youngest ones. So as you can see, there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They start off their days with mathematics, which is a must in early in the morning so that their brains are quite fresh and they can focus at this point. We tend to have maths early in the day so that they are able to focus rather than later in the day, maybe when they're tired and they're not all there. So mathematics starts around 7:30 to 8. Then they've got a little break in between. They've got their play session with one of the teachers. That is around, I think that's 40 minutes. They've got a break again, and they've got their life skills. And thereafter, they can go through with practicing handwriting. On Tuesdays, again, they start with their maths. They have their play. They have an SMR session with the teacher, and they've got their English. So as you can see from this timetable is regulated with CAPS and it is aligned, which means that they are meeting the exact times that they need for each subject. So as you can see, they've got English in the orange. They have English 4 times a week. They have mathematics every single day to make sure that their minds are fresh and that they don't lose track of what they are learning. So that is why we have structured the timetable this way. The timetables are scheduled to change due to the times and the teachers, but basically what you are seeing on the screen now is how it's basically going to look, something similar more or less. Then we have the grade 1. You can see the grade 1, they start off with maths on Mondays. They've got their SMR play, they've got English and life skills, and it's taken through all the other subjects throughout the week. I'll just go on to the intermediate phase and show you what their day looks like. So let's just look at grade 6, for example. Grade 6, they've got a nice full day. So they start off at 8 a.m. on a Monday morning with science. They're allowed to go through their flip tasks. So flip tasks are assessments in which the learners are allowed to kind of research and do their own background and understand and learn for themselves. So this is basically 20% of how our schooling journey continues on for their grade. So it's where they are given a topic, maybe they are given, a story to write an essay on, or maybe a certain theory topic in which they now have to research and do some work on their own. So after this live flip assessment, it gets marked by the teacher, and the teacher then comes to their flip task and says, okay, you know what, this is what it actually is. This is where we went off. This is where we are progressing. So this is the grade 6 timetable, just a short overview. It is subject to change if there are any changes in our school, but more or less it will stay pretty much the same, where they'll start around 7:30, 8 a.m. They will have their breaks in between, and they will end up around 2, 2:30, maybe 3 o'clock. So that's just our timetable. I hope that answered your questions, Mrs.
Thank you so much. I got another question. Can I go ahead? I wanted to know, do you communicate with emails, like if they need anything, or if it's like end of term type of a thing? Do you do it via email that they specifically need to have, or is it just sent to the parents? Like, do the kids have their own email, or do you just have the parents' email and send them everything?
Okay, so for that, we use our learner management system, which is Cluster. So on Cluster, the kid is able to talk and message the teacher, as well as the parents. They are allowed to message us there as well. But if it is any matters that is dealing outside the classroom, then obviously those are related. We are either will communicate by email, or we will maybe have a phone call, or if it requires us to have a Zoom meeting like this, then we will have that.
Okay, and then sorry, last question. Are we allowed to use like any devices, like say if maybe like you said for instance it was load shedding. So now obviously you maybe have a PC going, so maybe can you use your laptop or your phone still to lessons if they just not to like lose out on that day?
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. So a PC or a laptop would be preferred because it's a bigger screen and they can see what's going on. And it'll also be like on a table where they'll be able to actually do some work. But if it's a situation where there's nothing readily available and they need to tune in on a lesson, you can use your phone. The lessons are recorded, but we do, prefer them to go back on that recorded lesson and watch it on a laptop or a computer when the lights do come back. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's fine.
It is very difficult on the phone. I won't lie to you, because on the screen, sometimes when the teacher is trying to do work, or if they have the textbook on the screen, it can be difficult to see on the cell phone. So it is preferred that it is a PC or a laptop or an iPad.
Yes, because I know sometimes if you have the work in front, it's fine, but like to just hear the teacher to explain or anything like that. You know, these kids are very advanced these days, so they like, know how to operate these things. So I just thought in case like a load shedding, can a person switch over to the phone?
Yes, that's perfectly fine. If in that situation there's load shedding and there's no other devices, yes, they are allowed.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm just going to go through some questions.
Sorry,
Okay.
and how's the payment? Do you pay for the full term, or is it just 11 months?
Okay, so we do have payment options and payment plans. That are different ones that you can look at. It can be paid upfront or it can be paid on a monthly basis. I think leave your details. If our tech support has them, we can send those to you.
Okay, yes, please, because I didn't get information on the per month or So
okay.
if it's like, if you can just send that for me, that will be great.
Okay, great. Not a problem.
Thanks.
All right. Anybody else? If you've got any questions, please feel free. The floor is open. Okay. I think Kimon J. I hope I'm saying that right. Kimon J. had asked, is the paper's exam pages printed by the learners? So our exams have to be written. It cannot be typed. It strictly has to be written. So yes, on the exam paper, they are allowed to print it. There is space for writing for each answer. So they are allowed to print it and write on the exam paper and scan that back to us. But if they cannot print it, most of them just write down on a page. They write down their answers in accordance to exactly numbered to the question paper rather, and that is how they get their exams done. So that way we are able to invigilate more effectively, and we can ensure that they are, having a fair exam.
Sorry, hi. I've got another question. I would like to know, where are you guys based? Is it in Cape Town, Joburg?
So our head office is in Sandton, Joburg. So
Okay.
because we are an online school, there's no physical school. We just have a head office.
Okay, and then tell me, how do we apply for, like, that you've seen that we're doing online now? So with the Department of Education, do we have to register them ourselves, or do we go via you?
Okay, so because we are a online school that offers the CAPS curriculum and we are a South African school, you won't have to register your child with the department. So once you are with our school, we are offering the CAPS curriculum of assessment. So they will be automatically in that regard, because in our school, they do get a report card at the end of every term, just like a normal school. So that is also recognized in other schools because we are a South African school offering the same syllabus.
Okay, so even if the kids do decide they want to go back to a normal school, how does that work? Do we need to have the remember when you go to the Department of Education, there's like a code of your school
Yes.
child. So do we have to give you that code to put on the report or something like that?
No, not necessarily, hey, because I know at our school we do not require that. So the code is
Okay.
mostly used for the homeschool, and that is a setting in which the child does not go to any institution whatsoever. So in that situation, they need a code to be recognized as a student,
Yes,
as a school going child. Yeah. So that's where you really need,
so
and it's mostly the parents who have the kids in the homeschooling, which they would register themselves.
yes. Oh, so what you're saying is we have to register ourselves for them, or your school doesn't need to, we don't need to register
No, you
for
don't
the
need to register.
department. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
no,
no,
you don't.
that's fine. I just wanted to clear that up,
Sure, no
Okay,
problem.
thank you so much.
No problem. Okay, Ms. Lindiwe had asked, is it possible to have a personal consultation with one of the teachers? Yes, that is available. Whichever teacher you'd like to meet, that will obviously be via the same Zoom situation, and yeah, we'll be able to have that session. Obviously, that would have to be scheduled so that we can make sure that the teacher is available to meet, because we are in holidays now. So yeah, that can just be communicated to us, and then we can see what we can do from there. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? I think we've looked at most of them in the chat box. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say before we close up? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Thank you so much, everybody. It was an absolute pleasure to meet every single one of you here and for you to join us in our Getting Started for 2024 session. It was an absolute pleasure on our side. Thank you so much. We hope that we have answered all of your questions, and we hope that you guys, if not have already enrolled, that you make the decision to enroll. If at any given time you have any questions, please reach out to us. You can reach either to myself or our tech support. Our details are on the website, which you can find it, or alternatively, we can send it to you for those of you who We have your details. Thank you so much to all of those who joined. We hope you have a lovely Christmas for those of you who are celebrating, and a very happy new year. And hopefully, we hope to see your kids in the 2024 year. We hope that you have a wonderful night. Good evening.